Welcome to Scrum Prep School, where Scrum is made simple and success is made possible. My name is lawdiamassaley. I am the founder of Scrum Prep School, and I am so excited to get into what I've been calling success sessions. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, but success sessions simply because we're focusing not on the job, not on getting a role, but we're focusing on you, okay? On you being successful personally, professionally, but it starts within with our thinking. And so let's lean into that. And today we are talking about unlocking the positive impacts of imposter syndrome. We could even say unlocking the power, I just had to do that, of imposter syndrome. But let's dig into this success session. Now, being the teacher that I am, you see, I wasn't just a teacher in the class, I am a teacher. Being the teacher that I am, I do love a good definition. And I got this from our girl Google. What is imposter syndrome? The imposter syndrome, I love this definition, is the persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own efforts or skills. Man, persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved. Now, imposter syndrome, some history on it. Two clinical psychologists, Pauline Rose Clance and Suzanne Imes, first identified and named the phenomenon back in 1978. And imposter syndrome is the condition of feeling anxious. So not just from the definition, but really understand it as a condition of feeling anxious, not experiencing success internally, despite being high performing in external objective ways. This condition often results in people feeling like a fraud, a phony, and doubting their abilities and credit to better up for this information. And so, what are ways then that you can unlock the impact of something that is so weighty and heavy and so difficult many times to overcome, or that people are honestly dealing with again and again? And you can just be sick of feeling like a fraud and a phony. Well, I'm glad you asked. I heard you ask in my mind. The first way, I'm actually going to list out the 3 ways. So the 3 ways to unlock the positive impact of imposter syndrome. You see there? I should have just stuck to the script. Let's do that again. The 3 ways to unlock the positive impact of imposter syndrome are: 1, understand it to be an indication of your growth. 2, understand it to be the indication of your opportunities for growth. And 3, understand it to be an indication of your ability for growth. Now you might be saying, wait. Number 1 says I can grow. But then number 2, I have the opportunity. Yes, stay tuned. Let's get even clearer about this. So let's look at the first positive impact that you can take away from imposter syndrome. Number 1, it is an indication of your growth. I always say that comfort zones are danger zones. I learned this, and like many of you, we like comfort. That is our human nature and preference, okay? So I want for you to think about this. Anxiety, the sense of not belonging, and the feelings of being a fraud are not synonymous with our comfort zones. Where we are comfortable is where we live on autopilot. We're not being challenged. We're not being intentional. We get by on subconscious thinking and living. It is not until, listen to me, you step out of your comfort zone, that is when the challenge begins, okay? And even if As the definitions just told us, you are taking successful steps. You are beginning to see some result, even if very little. You feel like an imposter. Imposter syndrome shows up immediately to challenge you because you stepped away from the comfort zone. Now, you must see it as an indication of your growth. You must allow yourself to see imposter syndrome as the proof of your willingness, to leave the nest, your willingness to leave the comfort zone, your willingness to focus on your path forward. Okay, it is so important for you to stop and to reflect. I love a statement by Coach Shamika Daniels, and she says that your feelings are indicators, they're not dictators. So they don't tell me this is what I have to do, or I'm not making decisions solely based on like the immediate emotion of the feeling, but now stopping to think, why am I feeling this way? And what are some things that I can do that can be beneficial, right? As opposed to detrimental. So when I was pivoting into tech and I started to feel imposter syndrome, as I started to reflect, I began to celebrate the fact that I was showing up over and over again. I was interviewing, and step by step, bit by bit, I continued to show up, and I began to see the growth. And even though I was not getting favorable answers at the very beginning, because who does? You see, we want to put ourselves down, and we want to feel like we don't belong sometimes. And then you hear everyone talking, it's like, I feel like an imposter sometimes, or I felt like I didn't belong. And we all relate and go through this. And there's something about understanding many of these emotions, or what we might consider conditions, to be natural, that really take away the weight and the scariness, and really what makes them feel like this monster, something that, no, it is natural. And so as I began to celebrate the fact that I was showing up imperfectly, because that's what I just need more time to just prepare. If you had all the time in the world, and I mean all the time in the world, you would show up to whatever interview, to whatever you have to do, and you would feel like you still needed more time. That is also true. So just showing up made a big difference, and I began to celebrate the fact that I was growing. The nervousness that I would feel in my stomach, sometimes feeling a bit dry, like I'm taking this leap again. I wanted to run back to the classroom, be with the kids. No, it does not matter if my blood pressure is real high. I know what I'm doing there. That is my comfort zone. And all humor aside, you must see the discomfort and the challenge of imposter syndrome as an indication that you are growing. All right, so now the second positive impact that you need to discover, unlock, tap into of imposter syndrome is that it can be an indication of your growth opportunities. You're like, what? Or I would say opportunities for growth. But you just said I was growing. Yes, you are. Okay? Now, imposter syndrome wants you to downplay your progress. Can't do that. You must not do that. But it can also serve as an indication of areas in which you can improve. So listen, as you enter new rooms, as you enter new spaces, don't internalize the emotion of imposter syndrome to your detriment. You have to reflect on the facts. And if you notice room for improvement, learning, and growth, lean into those. Use any fact, and giving a specific example here. When I was on my journey, and it really in this rush of interviews and all of that, I realized that when I would sit and reflect on an interview and I really took the time to dissect, I wasn't too comfortable answering this question. I wasn't too comfortable with this concept. I wasn't too comfortable explaining, or I did not have a command or an expertise. And that would then provide me an opportunity to say, so look that up, study that more, get clearer in this area, focus on this, right? Sometimes we're practicing at things that we're good at, and it's great to strengthen strengths, but it's like it's a strength, so it's been strengthened. Okay, you're not focusing only on weaknesses all the time, but it is great to say, I can indeed improve in this area, and I'm going to allow this, again, the imposter syndrome, like when you're getting in spaces also where others have a command of the information, that can be intimidating, and imposter syndrome can show up that way. I don't communicate as effectively as they do. I don't have a command of that information as much as they do. Well, that, my dear, is an easier fix. It's easier to say now, so I'm just going to feel bad about it, because that's what imposter syndrome was. I'm just going to feel bad. I don't belong here. Those people know more than I do. They have a command and I don't. No, you lean into that. Oh, this is a great example. Now I have someone that has modeled for me a way that I can speak in my interviews, or I have had someone that has modeled for me a way that I can communicate. And now you've got the golden ticket. You've got the thing that can help you and direct you to a place, a space where you can begin to identify, I need to grow here, and I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I'm going to begin to implement and to apply and to learn. So I hope that this is making sense for you. So again, first, imposter syndrome, that discomfort that you feel, that feeling of phoniness, is a great indication that you've left the comfort zone. You are no longer on cruise control, that you are being intentional. And then the second thing, again, is that it can also be an indicator for growth. Like, maybe, yeah, I can get stronger in this area, I can get better, and I will. And then the third and final way that you can unlock the positive impact of imposter syndrome is that it is it is an indication of your ability for growth. Okay, this is where we just want to put it all together. It might sound like the same thing to you, and of course they're aligned, but there are differences here. Okay, when you are on your journey, you'll feel like an imposter even though you've made progress. Now, you can either agree with that feeling, or you can view it from the lens that growing is what you do. Okay, so I want for you to now think big picture about yourself, your ability for growth. And I'm saying like ability, but I would also say like your desire for it. I'm talking about the fact that you're all about that growth, that you are someone who you look at life and you say, I see opportunity here. I see a path forward, and I'm not going to stay at the same level that I was. I'm not going to remain in the same place, okay? So maybe we could even find a different word for ability. Your desire for growth, right? Your hunger for growth, your appetite for growth, your understanding of growth, whatever it might be. I'm using the word ability also because it is something that you are leaning into and you are developing. And imposter syndrome, as you show up in these rooms, and imposter syndrome shows up, you're like, this is what I do. This is what I do. Now, personal and professional growth can be challenging. Myron Golden says that disruption follows intention. I want for you to think about it. You can think about disruption like in order. There's disruption. There's intention. One, boom, right after it comes disruption. And he uses the idea of exercise, right? Once you're intentional about exercising and you get into that gym, That first day, you're like, one, this is hard, I'm out of breath. And then on top of that, I'm sore. This sucks. I don't want to do this anymore. You feel disrupted. The intention, the focus, I don't care if you watch whatever documentary, you're like, I'm about to be the healthiest, focus. That disruption will come and punch you in the mouth. And then there goes your plan. There goes intention, right? And you have to get back up and continue to do it. So, but I also want you to think disruption follows intention. Wait, following. It follows it. It's just going to be there. You're really intentional. Now, disruption, it means like, that doesn't mean that it has to impact and influence, but it is going to show up. There are so many people that are intentional. Disruption follows intention. Distraction follows intention, right? All of these different things that might want to disturb. There are people who are being challenged every day by the fact that they're trying to do better and move ahead, but there are opportunities to quit. There are opportunities to give in. There are opportunities to say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's going to be there, but you're choosing the intent over the disruption. All right. I literally just saw this quote yesterday, unintentionally and in an unsuspecting place, but it is so beautifully said that I have to share it with you. Anything you build on a large scale or with intense passion invites chaos. So what are we doing here? Thinking of imposter syndrome as what? As chaos, as disruption. Again, it's just a part of it. And if you allow yourself to understand, like, this is how I live, this is what I do. I'm seeking to be better. I'm seeking to grow. I'm willing to invest in myself. I'm willing to pay whatever the price is, not just in terms of money, but be it time, be it development of my skills, whatever it is. I understand there's value. And this is about you personally more than it is professionally. You have to give yourself credit. I'm going to be doing a video soon on the fact that your 6-figure skills, 7-figure skills, 8-figure skills remain with you. You're not just pouring it into a job. It's about you first and foremost. So stay tuned for that. Listen, I want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that it has served you in some way. Be sure to subscribe to Scrum Prep School on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at scrumprepschool.com. At Scrum Prep School, it's just Scrum Prep School. You can visit scrumprepschool.com for more information or email me at lydia@scrumprepschool.com. I would love to hear from you. I do look forward to seeing you in the next session. Thank you again for watching.